May I come in, sir?
Please come, and
Thank you, sir.
Vasu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please come. Vasu.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please take seat, Vasu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Vasu, just take less than a minute to tell us about yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am Vasu Jain. I am a resident of Delhi. I have done my schooling from Delhi and my graduation is in BSc LLB from Gujarat National Law University. So thereafter, I was associated with Pratham as assistant legal.
Associated with?
Pratham NGO.
Okay.
As assistant legal manager. So currently I am mentoring students with respect to law entrance examinations, and recently I have been selected as assistant commandant in Central Armed Police Forces.
Okay, so you are already into.
Already.
Yes. Great. So, Vasu, you want to start?
Well, Vasu, you belong to Delhi.
Yes, sir.
But you have done your education in Gandhinagar. For the purpose of this question, I take Gandhinagar to be part of Ahmedabad. Okay? Quickly compare Delhi with Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar in various dimensions that you can think of.
Yes, sir.
Just bullet points.
Yes, sir. So if we see law and order in Ahmedabad, I would say that is relatively better as compared to Delhi. Example being Garba nights. So, sir, if we see environment, again Ahmedabad has an edge over Delhi because the air quality and the water quality both
is better.
Yes, sir. Also the light pollution is not there. So stars are visible from Ahmedabad but not in Delhi. So on the other hand, if we see Delhi, it being the economic powerhouse, also the political capital, that advantage Ahmedabad generally do not have. And historically, if we compare both the cities, Delhi has a very rich history as compared to Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad was established by Gujarat Sultanate in around 15th century, but Delhi was has been mentioned in Mahabharata also.
Now just list down major problems of Delhi that you would like to, where you would like to see a change for the better. Just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, sir. So I think there are 4 major problems of Delhi. The first being the pollution in various dimensions.
First is pollution.
Sir, the second would be unauthorized colonies and the unplanned urbanization. The second would be non-management of rising population of Delhi. So Delhi.
Okay, let's take these 3 to be the most important. Quickly give your suggestions to the government of Delhi on these 1, 2, 3.
So I think the master plan which has been.
Your suggestions. What they have done, what are their ideas, forget about that. Okay. That we also know.
So if we talk about pollution, then firstly with respect to water pollution, I think if we can create buffer zones around the river Yamuna, that would help the river to rejuvenate. Also, if we can have
basically air pollution. Water pollution is not a major problem here.
So for air pollution, there are different factors we need to take into consideration, like traffic management. So if we could promote public transport, metro is there, bus is there, but if we can have.
Let's talk about realistic solutions. Public transport to whatever extent can be done, it has been already done. You cannot ask people not to bring their cars out when they have the cars. So that's over. Metro is there, buses are there, that's good enough.
So then I think the government of Delhi can have agreement with the government of Haryana and Punjab with respect to stubble burning. And
they have tried it, it has failed.
So but incentivization of that should take place.
Other than stubble burning, what else can be done?
So with respect to construction, there should be a policy in place. Construction.
Okay.
So that construction dust is minimized, and the construction time also should be.
Let's move to the next one after pollution.
Yes, sir. So the second was unauthorized colonies.
Yeah.
So the regulation bill is already before the parliament, regularization of the unauthorized colonies. So that is pending before.
So you mean to say regulation should be done?
So
I am of the opinion that regulation should not be done, because if you keep on doing it after every 3, 4 years, 5 years, then it will go on increasing, because everybody will like to come to Delhi, and the problems on Delhi will not be able to hold so many people.
So
what do you think?
Sir, I completely agree with this view. However, the bill has taken this into consideration. The bill has mentioned a cut-off date of 2014 or 15, which mentioned that the colonies which were established and recognized.
No, why regularize it?
So because
what was illegal, it continues to be illegal.
Sir, I agree with this view, but in law there is a concept of adverse possession, and if any person is holding on to a property without objection for a certain duration of time, then he gets certain right over that property.
Don't you think that this is being done to get more votes, because they are the prime voters?
So that could be one of the consideration, because political considerations are there.
Okay,
However,
next.
Sir, then the third thing that was use of population. That Delhi has a very huge population.
It is related to that, the second one.
Sir, my apologies.
The two are related to each other. Okay, one more question I'll ask you. What do you understand by global warming?
So it's a recent climate change phenomena wherein the average temperature of this planet is increasing by.
Why does it increase?
Sir, there are various reasons to it, natural and anthropological also, but the major reason being the increase in greenhouse gases, and the primary being.
What do you mean by greenhouse gases?
So these are those gases which have the ability to absorb the heat radiation and retain that.
What is greenhouse?
So it's a concept, it's an horticulture concept wherein a building is created which allows the sunlight to come, but it is painted green, and thus the light or the heat.
And trap the heat?
Yes, sir.
How does it get trapped? I believe greenhouse is the same thing as a glass house.
Yes, sir.
So it comes through either glass.
Yes, sir.
Why does it not go out from the other side?
So, because there are certain gases present in the greenhouse. Secondly, I also feel that there is some because it has been painted green, and that
because it is painted green, so it's called greenhouse gas.
No, sir. That greenhouse, in my limited understanding, is that it is painted green from outside, which prevents it from going.
Nothing like that. Something else.
Then I will read about it. So my apologies.
Mr.Vasu, Jain.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by Santhara?
Sir, Santhara is a Jain practice. Santhara is a Jain practice wherein if a monk believes that he has fulfilled the purpose of his life, then he abstains from all the worldly affairs.
Okay, does right to life include right to die?
Sir, as of now, we have not yet, that is not included under right to life.
Supreme Court's verdict?
Sir, 𝐕𝐚𝐬𝐻 case.
What was that?
So in that there was there are a series of judgments, and the 𝐕𝐚𝐬 being the leading one.
Latest one.
In which it was alleged that whether a person can claim right to die as a part of right to live with dignity, because that is his choice whether to live or die. In that case, the Supreme Court held that life cannot be taken away even with one's consent. That is an intrinsic element, and right to die cannot be brought within the ambit of right to life.
Okay, you have done LLB. LLB stands for?
𝐕𝐚𝐬𝐲 𝐕𝐴.
Okay, so this is a Latin word. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Director CBI, post of Director CBI, is it a constitutional post?
So it is a statutory post.
Statutory, yeah. Under which act?
The Special Delhi Police Special.
What is the full name of the act?
I am not aware of that, sir.
Anyway,
I read about it.
6A section of that particular act, what is that?
I am not aware of
It was
that.
struck down by the Supreme Court. Okay, you can't recall.
My apologies, sir.
Okay, so who is supreme, the Constitution or the Parliament?
So it is the Constitution which is
Constitution which is supreme. So Minerva Mill case you might be very well aware of.
Yes, sir.
So some of the provisions made through 42nd Amendment in the Constitution were struck down by the Honorable Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
Which were those major two provisions which were struck down in Minerva Mill case?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the 42nd Amendment, the Parliament amended Article 31B and replaced certain words with that, certain words being Article 39BC with whole of the DPSP.
Okay, what were those?
Which
were those?
Yes, sir. Sir, should I mention the contention or the whole?
No, just conclusion. So what were the provisions made through 42nd Amendment in the Constitution which were struck down by Supreme Court related with Minerva Mill case?
Yes, sir. So before the Minerva Mills 42nd Amendment.
Just to these were two provisions which were struck down by the Honorable Supreme Court.
So through 42nd Amendment, supremacy of DPSP was brought in
That's
with
right.
respect to fundamental rights.
Precedence of Director Principles of State Policy over
Fundamental
rights. So this was struck down. Another one?
Judicial review was curtailed through 42nd Amendment, and that was struck down.
So Parliament can amend any part of the constitution, no judicial review. So these were the two provisions. Okay, my last question related with GNCTD Amendment Act. So what exactly that amendment is, which has been objected to by the AAP government. AAP government says that this is unconstitutional, this is against the principle of cooperative federalism. Yeah, please.
Sir, the recent amendment which amends the 1991 Act has brought in 5 amendments in the 91 Act. The first being that the government of Delhi is equivalent to Lieutenant Governor. Second are that the rules of Delhi Assembly cannot be inconsistent with the rules of Lok Sabha. Also the third one being the Delhi State Legislative Assembly cannot discuss the day-to-day administration of the Delhi government.
Very right. So what's your take on it? Do you go with the AAP government, whatever it's saying, that's right, or whatever has been done through this amendment is right, in your view?
So in my opinion, this amendment has not taken away any power from any of the bodies or any of the power centers. It has rather clarified the nature and ensured a harmonious relationship between the two power centers in Delhi. That is the Office of Lieutenant Governor.
So definition of government.
Yes, sir.
That is the elected government. So, and ultimately, who is under that particular definition, who is the government?
So, I would like to clarify here, sir. Even the Delhi state government itself has brought in, when it has passed certain laws, has brought the same provision, the definition clause, that the government of Delhi would be equivalent to Lieutenant Governor. The example being Netaji Subhash Chandra University Act.
Okay, thank you. Jay.
Please.
Tell me about some landmark historical buildings of Delhi.
Yes, sir. So, Delhi has 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The first one being the Red Fort, second being the Qutub Minar, and the third one being 𝐬𝐭𝐮𝐬𝐻 tomb. Apart from that, there are important sites like Purana Kila. Yes, sir. Then also the Chandni Chowk, the whole Chandni Chowk complex, which has various around 16 ancient buildings protected by ASI.
And Rajpath or the President House, these are not historical buildings?
Sir, these have been constructed in 20th century, basically. So it depends on whether we want to classify it as historical.
What's your opinion about this Central Vista scheme? Is it good or bad?
So if you see, the Central Vista program was very much required by the government, because firstly, the government offices were very scarcely located. There was no interconnectedness between the government offices. Secondly, all the offices were not within government properties. So a huge amount of rent was being paid by the government with respect to different departments. So third being, because there was no interdepartmental coordination, and Central Vista tries to answer all these 3 problems. And also many of the buildings which were already there were in Delhi not in very good condition. So I think Central Vista was
whether interdepartmental coordination can be one of the logic in this age of internet connectivity?
So I feel that although internet connectivity is an enabling technology which will help to which can help that, but physical connectivity is also very much required, because government is at present is working through files, and transportation of files would be sending of the files to different departments would be required, and if there is physical connectivity, that would be seamless and that would be much easier.
My last question, what is your opinion about Delhi being made a bigger state with entire NCR being declared as a state? For all practical purposes, they are one.
Yes. So I feel that that could be one of the proposals, but I think that could create major problems with respect to the center, because most of the center properties are located in the Union Territory of Delhi. Also, the various foreign properties like the embassies, those are also there, that would also be affected. And thirdly, the historical monuments. So I think in that case, Union Territory is required. Coming to the question of NCR given a different nature, so that could be one of the prospects which we can look into, because in that case we could have better coordination between the cities which are in different states. So those interstate difficulties which you are facing, whether it's with respect to expansion of metro or creation of counter cities, that could become seamless.
Thank you.
Vasu,
Yes, sir.
you are in Delhi?
Yes, sir.
Some important cases are pending in Supreme Court. Can you, which important cases are pending with Supreme Court?
Sir, I can recall of Sabrimala judgment being pending before the Supreme Court.
Along with Sabrimala, some
Sir,
many more issues are there. Can you,
yes, sir.
all those?
So, Supreme Court has clubbed various personal law issues wherein there is conflict between
Okay,
personal
so
law and fundamental.
Sabrimala is one.
Yes, sir.
From Parsi side,
Yes. If a female Parsi marries outside the Parsi community, then the female Parsi is not recognized in the Parsi community. She is not allowed to enter the Parsi
okay.
version.
For Muslims,
So the concept, the problem of nikah halala, triple talaq, these are pending.
okay. For Sikh, anyway. we
So
can-
that I am not aware of.
Okay. So beside this, other cases?
Sir, the Kashmir Article 370 issue is pending before the Supreme Court. Sir, these I can recall.
35A also there.
Yes, sir. Inclusive that.
Think because a student of law.
Sir, my opinion.
Creamy layer
Yes, sir.
for SC, ST. Think few more. You as a, who is the woman judge currently?
Sir, there were three female Supreme Court judges, but at present all the three have retired. There was Justice Indu Malhotra, Justice Indira Banerjee, and Justice P. Bhanumati. All the three.
Indira Banerjee is retired? No, not yet.
Sir, I will liquidate, sir.
Now, what is your opinion there, ethically? In Mamata Banerjee, West Bengal, two of judges, they recused themselves. Don't you feel that is unfair on the part of a good judge, irrespective of whether somebody approach you or this is a fear of somebody or something? What was the reason for that?
So the argument given by the judges were that they have heard this case before, and thus it would not be prudent on their part to sit as judge once again when the case is before the Supreme Court in a fresh hearing.
So one judge said like that.
Yes,
Second judge?
So I am not aware of the.
Okay, just last. What do you feel the minority status for Jain? Do you feel this is in the national interest? Every caste and every religion is given minority?
So if you see the population wise, the population of Jain community is less than 1%, and that becomes a very minuscule population. And for the protection of the culture of Jain community and also the Jain literature, I think it becomes important to have some constitutional protection. And
so what is so special about Jain culture? Then every tribe, everything, there is something special?
Yes, sir. So if you see religious wise, the Jain culture, the Jain tradition follows certain religious practices which are very different from the rest of the country, and that is one such protection. Also the Jain literature, which is very ancient in Prakrit language, so protection and more promotion of that literature requires special protection from the government side.
Okay, sir.
Great. Vasu, should I stay within law or some other area of your interest?
Sir, law would become.
Law, very good. I was thinking you will take me out of law. Vasu, in fact, last about 3 weeks or 2 weeks,
Yes, sir.
there have been some very profound statements made by judges of Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice. I will paraphrase them because I may not remember the exact language. But then I would want you to tell me what exactly must be in their mind when they said so. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
The first expression is the right to change a government from time to time in a democracy does not guarantee
Yes, sir.
protection from tyranny.
Yes, sir.
Yes? Very profound statement. Then another statement I saw was that justice should be tempered with mercy,
Yes, sir.
but should not be substituted by mercy.
Yes, sir.
Again, a very profound statement. And the third one is that, which says Constitution will be the North Star to judge the action and inaction of the state. Now, choose one of these three and interpret for me.
Yes, sir.
Or not all three, because that would be a long one.
So, the first statement with respect to
First statement you choose, very good, I'm very happy. I thought that was the most difficult to choose.
when the Honorable Justice Chandrachud mentioned in his statement that
This was a statement by the Chief Justice.
my apologies, sir, in that case.
Yes,
Sir,
Miss Justice Ramana said so in a lecture.
Yes, sir. My apologies.
Yes.
In a lecture, yes, sir. My apologies. So he mentioned that it is the duty of a population or a citizen is not just to cast his vote one time and sleep for the other 5 years. And if that is the case, there is no check on the government, because the government is actually answerable to the public. So the public has to be vigilant throughout the 5 years tenure, and they need to be.
No, then does he spell out the tools in the hands of public? I'm very vigilant. I voted, but I'm very vigilant. What do I do now?
Sir, my apologies, but I'm not very sure about the tools which.
In your mind, do we have any tools?
Yes, sir.
What are those tools?
Sir, the first would be the RTI Act, which has empowered the
All
citizen.
right, I'll get the information. People, nobody will care. It's all right. You have this information. So what?
Sir, the second would be making representations to the government.
All right. What else?
Sir, then one can approach the.
Tell me, what are the other institutions which can help the society for keeping an eye so that their right to be protected against tyranny is not lost?
Yes, sir. Sir, the first would be the Honorable Supreme Court of India. The second would be the Lokpal institution.
What else?
Sir, as a public,
What else? Public means we own all these, they belong to us in a way. Not financially, but constitutionally, but societally. What are the other institutions which can help us achieve that goal?
Sir,
accountability goal.
Sir, although we have CBC, CBI, but as a public, a person cannot approach CBC, CBI. So Lokpal would be the.
There are other institutions. Is this an institution?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like this?
Sir, the pressure groups would be the other thing. The
civil society.
Yes, sir.
The press.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, please, are these institutions, in your judgment, you're a lawyer, performing their functions efficiently, and Constitution being the North Star to judge action and inaction of state?
So I feel that all media and the civil society are working at a great level to achieve the state constitutional purpose of right to life with dignity for the all purpose, and that was very profound during the COVID crisis.
Good. Very good answer. All the best to you. You have done very well.
Thank you, sir.
Excellently done.
Thank you, sir.
Right? So I'm sure you will do very well.
One thing.
Yes, sir.
कभी आपका आंसर बहुत बड़ा हो जाता है, जैसे उससे रिलेटेड मिनरवा मिल से just 2 points जो आपने बाद में बोले वही बोलते, that was good enough. है ना? शुरू में कोई इतना बड़ा कहने की.
इनफैक्ट सिविल सर्विसेज में सबसे ज्यादा रिलेवेंस जो है ना वो लॉ वालों की है. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू सी समबडी दैट इज फ्रॉम लॉ बैकग्राउंड.
Yes, sir.
And you know, our committee has recommended that law and public administration should be
Essential.
compulsory, and that
Yes.
should be part of the examination.
Correct.
Because everybody is supposed to know. वहाँ पे
Everybody has to apply it later.
करेक्ट.
हाँ, everybody has to apply this. This is
अब
the
सारी जिंदगी लॉ ही अप्लाई करती है
Yes,
और
sir.
वो ही नहीं
टाइम को
थोड़ा
अच्छे से यूटिलाइज करना है, इसी बार निकलना है प्रॉपर में, नो नेक्स्ट चांस.
So you were asked about law in most of the questions. I think the only major question I asked you other than law was global warming. Why did I ask you this? It has nothing to do
से
with law.
देखना, उससे थोड़ा सा ऑटोनॉमी आई, सीबीआई में पढ़ना है.
What do you think? Why would I asked you this question?
Because of the current relevance.
It is general knowledge. You didn't know the correct answer about the greenhouse effect. Why did you try to attempt it? Would you try to attempt it in prelims, where negative marking is announced? Probably you do not know that. In interview, negative marking is much heavier than prelims.
आपकी साइंस
So
बैकग्राउंड है?
never try to guess.
थोड़ी साइंस बैकग्राउंड है आप?
Yes, sir. BSc I have done.
BSc कौन सा किया?
So it
What
will.
subject?
BSc है तब
No,
तो
there was no.
क्वेश्चन इजी होना चाहिए।
हाँ,
नहीं BSc है, मैंने सोचा आपने इसलिए
अच्छा BSc मुझे नहीं पता।
There was no subject specialization, sir. कोई
but
subject
you
नहीं था.
studied physics, chemistry and
Yes,
ये
sir.
तो फिजिक्स का क्वेश्चन है।
फिजिक्स का क्वेश्चन है। मैं आपको
तो
अगर
आपको
college-
नहीं पता कौन सा
हाँ।
श्योर, देखो साइंस इज वेरी स्पेसिफिक थिंग। ये आपको पता है कि नहीं पता है, डोंट ट्राई टू आंसर इट, यू विल गेट नेगेटिव मार्क्स ऑन दिस।
Sir, is it only because of the gases present in the greenhouse?
नहीं, इट्स नॉट बिकॉज़ द गैसेस।
See,
आप जाके नेट पे देख लो, दिस समथिंग टू डू विद दैट। आप आधे रास्ते ठीक आए थे,
आधे रास्ते ठीक
रेज आई, हीट ट्रैप हो गई, लेकिन क्यों ट्रैप हो गई ये नहीं पता।
ये नहीं है।
समथिंग टू डू विद द वेवलेंथ।
यस, उसका गैस का रोल नहीं है।
Okay.
ठीक है।
उसके अंदर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इकट्ठी नहीं हो गई है, वो कैसे घुसी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड?
ज्यादा ऑक्सीजन है बल्कि।
Yes, sir.
हाँ, प्लांट्स हैं तो ऑक्सीजन छोड़
जब
रहे हैं।
लाइट होती है तो ऑक्सीजन ज्यादा होती है ग्रीन हाउस के अंदर।
हमने सही
तो
कहा।
डोंट ट्राई टू गेस इन यूपीएस, वरना समझ में नहीं आएगा इंटरव्यू में मार्क्स कम क्यों आए।
जी.
सडनली कम हो जाएंगे।
जब वो एनर्जी रिच वेव घुसती है ना ग्लास के थ्रू, इट लूजेस सम एनर्जी,
चलो
वेवलेंथ बदल जाती है।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
जब वेवलेंथ बदल जाए दोबारा नहीं पास कर सकती उसको।
हाँ.
वो बाहर नहीं निकल पाएगी।
बाहर नहीं निकल पाती और वहीं घूमती रहती है। ओके,
Yes,
गुड लक
sir.
टू यू, वेरी वेल डन,
Thank you, sir.
एक्सीलेंट कैंडिडेट।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
ऑल द बेस्ट।
Thank you, sir.
टेक केयर।
Thank you, sir.